Welcome to PNW Prop Stars, the only Seahawks only gambling show in the multiverse. I am your host, Clinton Bonner, aka Proper Harley, of course, and I am joined out there, the money line rainmaker from Montana, Adam Emmerich, and I'm also joined, another co-host by the Princetonian of parlays, Wilson Kahn. Fellas. We're recording on Thursday at 6:14 my time, at 4:14 your time. And Wilson, you're on the East Coast right now, going to Princeton, of course. We have NFL football starting tonight. So we're going to get into all the beautiful, opinions of the Seahawks and Broncos game coming right up. But let's start things off with a little coin toss, if you will. A quick roundabout. Bills at Rams. Bills, the road favorites, giving 2.5. Let's go with beauty over youth. Adam, who do you like to take the NFL kickoff premier game this starting in like 2 hours, man?
Yeah, Buffalo, because catfish the Rams. Like, everybody should hate them as much as I do because they're a terrible franchise of filthy money grubbers. And I think that since last year, the NFL got their whole NFL has to work in LA thing out of the way by gifting the Rams their Super Bowl. That maybe this year, maybe they'll actually let this season play out fairly. And if that's the case, then I think the Bills probably win by 10.
Nice. That's a strong Buffalo there. Wilson, you got Bills by $1 billion too. What do you got?
Yeah, I got the Bills as well. You mentioned who do we like, and who I like in this game are both the same. That's the Bills.
Nice.
Adam said it best. Catfish the Rams. And a lot of analysts, nationwide analysts, are picking the Bills to win it all this year, and this is a great place to start, I think. Definitely the hot pick.
Absolutely the hot pick for sure. It's almost a bit of a coronation. I'm like, I got a bunch of Bills fans because of dudes I know and people I follow on Twitter, and I'm like, hey, you got to win. You better win, not just tonight. They need to win the whole thing and do it this year, and that's harder than it just sounds. They have a great roster. I'm on the Bills, fan wagon tonight for sure as well. Bills minus 2.5. So let's see it go beat the friggin' Rams. All right. So folks, let us talk about PNW Prop Stars real quick. We've only done a couple in the preseason. New show on the Seahawkers podcast. Reminder, right? Out on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast, or wherever you got ears. We're doing 5 shows a week out there. We got prediction shows. We got the flagship show. We got From the Podium, which are these beautiful curated pressers. And we got this lovely gambling show. So on PNW Prop Stars, we're going to gamify this for you so you can follow along real easy. We're each going to pretend, or if we want to really bet, I'm going to be wagering real money, $31 per week. 31, and that number might be curious to some. Adam, why are we doing $31? What does that number mean to you?
31. What would that mean to me? That would mean that
Wilson, what does 31 mean to you, Wilson?
I don't know.
EJ Dallas. No, it's Cam Chancellor. Bam Bam.
Yes, Adam. It's an homage. It's a Bam Bam Cam Chancellor.
I'm never good at those games. Everybody with their this number represents that, like blah blah blah. Like what 31? 31,
31 flavors, the whole thing, right? So I got you. The 31 Bam Bam. So we're betting $31 a week for the love of Bam Bam Cam Chancellor, because why not? That's a fun number. And the way we're going to do it is 4 unique bets each. 3 of them, keep it dead simple. So the money, when we talk about what it pays out, it can be very simple. 3 of them, $10 each. The last bet, we're going to call that one the Fail Mary. That's your $1 Sunday scratcher, your lotto, your ticket and a dream there. $1. The only rule on that one is the bet has to be at least plus 1,200 or higher, better odds in your favor, meaning, more money. Otherwise the bet don't count. So that's it. Like I said, that's a lottery ticket on that one. So for example, you bet $1 on plus 1,200 to 1, you bring back $12. Hey, Adam, why does the number 12 mean something to us?
12. I don't know. That one's even more confusing than 31.
Wilson, why is the number 12? We all know what number 12 means. It's all good there. So which is fantastic. So listen, the just like if you guys listen to 3 in 3 out, I hope you do, part of the Seahawkers podcast stream. We have one rule on 3 and 3 out. We also have only one rule on PNW Prop Stars. Adam, this one I know you know. What's the one rule? What do we have to obey here?
There's only one rule in Seahawks Podcast Club, and that is do not bet against the Seahawks. You can't do it. If you do it, you're not really a fan, and you're damaging your own Hawkra. So don't do it.
Correct. That you see, so third time's a charm. 1 out of 3, and you're in the Hall of Fame if you're a baseball hitter. We're not betting. None of these bets can be like the money line against the Seahawks, or like Broncos giving 6.5, and you take the Broncos. And we're not allowing it. You can't do it. So we got to be a little more explorative than that. Each week, we're also going to give a little recap on what we did the week previous, because we want to be, men of honor and talk about how did we do, and we're going to keep track of this. And we're gonna crown somebody the PNW prop star of the week, because always compete in the whole thing already. 2 weeks ago, we had the Seahawks Dallas game last time we played. And Wilson, remind the good folks, what was the one bet you and I really liked the most in Seattle, Dallas?
It was the over, and we smacked it, and it hit incredibly hard, harder than Cam Chancellor. And
maybe. Yeah, that one hit. So if you're listening to PNW Prop Stars and you made a little scuttle on that one, fantastic. And maybe there's a little bit of another Hawkra lesson, Wilson, that you could share with the folks, that if they're listening and playing money and they win money, what can they do? What can they do with that?
Yeah, you should really consider tipping some of that back to us on Venmo at Hawkra. Get your Hawkra up. Make sure you aren't visited by the ghost of Marshawn Pass in your slumbers. I've had that happen to me. I bet against the Seahawks in preseason week 1, and I've had nightmares about it ever since. So
right, you should learn to do better, right? And at Hawkra on Venmo, that will all go back to the Seahawkers podcast. So you might already be a patron. Maybe you're just following out on Twitter, on YouTube, or you're in the Discord already. So, but if you win and you want to chip back in a little more, hey, it's only going to increase the Hawkra. It's not a rule. It's just a mild suggestion. That's all that is, or maybe a little bit more than mild, but it's a suggestion. All right. So one
value
more thing
for value, man. That's how we work it. It's
exactly.
Value for value.
Been saying that for about 10 years now, right, Adam? So value for value. I couldn't agree more. So bookies.com is this kind of really fun site where there's all these, I would call them intricate little things and trinkets that come up. And one that I got passed over today from bookies.com was Pete Carroll against the spread, meaning if you bet the Seahawks, whatever the spread was, whether they were giving or getting, just this regular old spread, Pete Carroll is winning 56% of the time against the spread. He is 4th highest in modern coaches right now. So basically, Vegas and the history is saying, don't bet against Pete Carroll straight up against the spread. More often than not, you're going to lose. By the way, I thought that was a little surprising. And Wilson, I thought maybe you had the same reaction, because I always remember, like, I don't know, last couple of years, especially Seattle against the spread seemed like snake bitten sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, we would always kind of just play down to bad teams, and a lot of the times we're better than our opponents. Not these days, I don't think, but back when we had a Hall of Fame quarterback, can't remember his name, but
right,
yeah,
that's some dude who was causing all sorts of smoke screens and staying all polite on the camera, but doing things behind scenes and getting mad because he wasn't throwing touchdowns against the Falcons. So we have to move on, right? And so we're going to move on. We're getting 6.5 as a home favorite Monday Night Football. And again, sure, we could take that bet if we want to, but maybe we want to go into more unique bets or more fun bets. We are going to go this time age before beauty. We're going to start with the youngin Wilson. So on first down, Wilson, what is the first bet you want to lay out for the good people, and why?
Well, I saw this one and I just started licking my chops because this is just a beautiful bet to see. We're using DraftKings, by the way. We're usually going with FanDuel, but they were a little bit late on the props this week just because it's a Monday night game. It happens. But I saw DK Metcalf receiving yards prop, and it was at 56.5, which seemed very low to me, especially with Geno at quarterback. I really, really like this bet. He had 5 TDs and 3 games and change with Geno last year, including that really long one against the Saints, which if something like that was to happen again in this Broncos game, that's all you need to win that bet. So I think he's going to get a lot of volume in the middle of the field, something that will be a little bit refreshing, I think. And I really like the over 56.5 yards for Metcalf.
And is that at like -110, the standard -110 for the house?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Gotcha. And for the folks who might be new to gambling, your standard bet is -110. Anything, because that's just like 10% vig goes to the house, right? Anything above that, one way or the other, and that's really the money moving. So when you see a bet that's like Metcalf 50, whatever it was, -110, that's kind of your standard bet. Again, with that vig kind of baked in. But Adam, quickly reaction wise, do you like that bet? Yeah or nay?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, the one thing that you got to think about is that when Geno came in last year, DK's production actually went up a little bit.
True.
So I think there's a big opportunity here for Geno to target DK a little bit more like he did last year in 56 yards. I mean, heck, that's 3 catches, 4 catches. Yeah. I think he's going to get at least that in the game. So yeah, I think that's a pretty solid bet.
Okay. I for me, it's a bit challenging because I think Surtain's going to be covering him. And however, that might lead to some other things that I might be sharing in a little bit. All right, Adam. So your first down bets, the first one of the regular season. What do you got for the good people?
All right. My first down bet this week is for Geno under 0.5 on interceptions, and that's +120. And I think that it's that way because everybody has this perception in their head that just Geno sucks. And so, of course, he's going to throw a bunch of picks, but that's not the reason he's the starter. The reason he's the starter is because he doesn't throw a bunch of picks. And I think of all the things that are most likely in this game, Geno throwing it around the yard a bunch in this game might be the least likely of all the outcomes possible. And if he throws the ball, what I think is going to be somewhere in that 20 to 25 times range, which is probably right, only because the offense could really struggle and it could be a crap ton of 3 and out. So he just doesn't have many opportunities to throw the ball, or they run the hell out of the ball and Geno doesn't have to throw it very much. If that's the case, I don't see him throwing the ball that much. It means it's not in the air all that often, which means the odds of him throwing a pick are pretty low. Plus he's a conservative quarterback on top of all of that. Geno under 0.5 for INTs.
Very nice. So I got to hop in there and say, I'll just make that my first one because that was one of my 3, which we don't talk. Oh. Obviously, folks, if you're hearing this for the first time, we don't share these beforehand because what's the point of that? We want to surprise each other. That was one that I pegged too, man. I'm like, just don't throw a pick, but I love getting 120. So again, doing the quick math, if you bet 10, you get $12 for that. He just doesn't have to throw a pick. Now, sure. Of course, it's gambling. Could it happen? But for all the reasons that Adam just laid out, it's one of my favorite bets also. All right, let us mosey then to down number 2. Just the way it worked out, it's actually going to go back to you, Adam, since that was the order we agreed upon. So second down, what is your second favorite bet of the week and why?
So my second favorite bet for this week is that both teams score in the second quarter, and the no is +225. I think coming out of the gate with all the change on both of these teams, I think it's very likely that there's going to be stretches of game where the offenses struggle, whether it's the Broncos or the Seahawks. And I think there's a very good likelihood that one of the two teams doesn't score in the second quarter. I think that could easily happen. And for the odds of +225, yeah, man, I'll take that.
Not bad. No, rolling the dice and that's a nice get, right? So you're more than doubling your money there. Wilson, quick reaction to Adam's second down play.
Yeah, I really like that one. I was kind of poking around there, and it's really good value too. So
the value is good. The one thing that's concerning to me is, yes, teams can hit those doldrums, like you said, get fired up and come out with fire the first quarter, and then hit the skids a little bit. It's that 2-minute drill field goal. That is, it's the empty netter in hockey. That's a tough one. However, now that you bet it, how about this? I'll gladly settle for a 17-0 Seahawks go into halftime, and then you win your bet, and we're feeling pretty good at halftime. He's got the head nod going, so feels pretty good to me too. All right, I'll go second on this round. So I like to sometimes look at the lines and then manipulate them with the alternate lines and see where the money moves and shakes. It's one of my favorite things to do. So Seattle is currently getting 6.5. And again, if you place that standard, you're at -110. Again, that tends that vig to the house. What I did was I moved the line a little bit So it's Seattle only getting 4.5, but now I'm getting plus 115. I dig that bet. I like that for, several reasons. And yes, I want Seattle to win. Will I be shocked if this is a 24-20 game Broncos? I won't be. I won't be shocked at all. That 4.5 is enough of a cushion past that field goal and past that like extra touchdown when Seattle might have been up by 3 at some point. I like that to get 115. I trust Seattle to keep it close. I like getting the extra money, so I don't mind moving that spread a little bit. And Adam, I saw you having a pretty strong reaction to it. So are we buzzing around the same tower again?
Oh, that was my extra just in case prop here for you guys, because felt a little boring, but also too, get out of my head. All those exact reasons. Like that was exactly what I thought when I saw that. I don't know, Wilson. I mean, did that tickle your fancy at all when you saw it?
Not necessarily. I've kind of focused more on the player ones here, like for Geno and things like that, but nice. It sounds good to me.
Nice. Well, take it away with your second down bet then there, Wilson.
Yeah. So speaking of our beloved starting quarterback, Geno Smith, I caught this one about his passing yardage. Now I know it's a little contradictory, me going for the over on DK, but I think there's a bit of data to back up going under for Geno, 207.5 yards. And last year, Geno, so what does Geno do? He's very accurate, right? He's an accurate quarterback. He doesn't turn the ball over very much, but he does not throw big chunk plays. You rarely see Geno break off a throw of 25, 30 yards, unless it's a screen play or something like that. Like games last year, he has 32 attempts against Pittsburgh, and he barely breaks 200 yards. And I don't think he's going to see that type of throwing volume in this game, because these games where he played last year, Carson was out, Penny was iffy at best.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly if he was healthy during that stretch. And now with a healthy Penny, we don't know about Ken Walker. He probably won't get a bunch of carries even if he does play. But with a healthy Penny, I think Geno probably throws the ball even less. I think also there's a little bit of Pete that just kind of wants to rub it in Russ's face that we're going to run the ball and kill you guys. And Geno only broke 200 yards once in the 4 games last year at the Steelers with 32 attempts. I really don't think he's going to get any more than 25 attempts in this game. So I think I got to roll with the under on his passing yardage.
And again, this is a fine bet. This is not an illegal bet, right? It's very likely a smart bet. And I hear what you're saying about the being a bit contradictory with Metcalf, but it also makes sense. Like Metcalf can go off for 70 or 80. Lockett might go off for what he's going to go get, and there might not be much else to go around. And that's just the way the cookie's going to crumble potentially. All right. So why don't we mosey on to third down now? This is going to be my first out of here. And what I'd like to do is first down, a little conservative. Second down, maybe get some play action going. Third down, maybe think of it as like third down and long and start take a little more risk. And then we got our Fail Mary. And these guys could play it however they want to. I'm just giving you my mentals. So the moment that going back to when Russell Wilson started scrambling at the end of last year, which is like the last 2 to 3 games of last year, I was on 3 and 3 out with Brandon, one of the other shows. And I said at that time, I think Russ is leaving because I believe his agent is telling him to put it back on tape that he can still move with his feet. And so to me, it was like an indicator that he's gone. So if people want to go back and check the tape, yeah, I was Mama Cleo in that thing because I was like, he did not do this. Adam, you pointed it out. He hasn't done it for 2 years. All of a sudden, he's running again. He's making plays with his feet. That last game against Arizona last year, he has that beautiful diving touchdown, the 5-finger death punch, fired upness, touchdown, Russell Wilson. Here's my bet. At plus 390, anytime touchdown scorer, Russell Carrington Wilson, I don't want to see it. It's not what I want. I think we're going to get Russell Wilson punching in a touchdown with his feet for plus 390. And I've been thinking that since the end of last year when he was still a Seahawk. So I got to go with it. Not what I want to see, but I think we're going to get one. Any reactions, boys?
Oh, I think, just everything about that bet screams, stay the freak away. Like the idea that Russ is going to run more now that he's with the Broncos, I think is out the window. I do agree with you the idea that he was putting it, quote, on tape as an audition for the rest of the league. But when he goes over to the Broncos, do you think he wants to be running around? He has proven for a long time now, the whole point of him leaving and everything that he says is he wants to be Tom Brady. He wants to be Joe Montana. He wants to be considered one of the guys that sits in the pocket and picks people apart. He's not going to go out there and scramble around this game. And not only that, when they're down by the goal line and doing all that stuff, they're not going to have Russ run it in. They're going to be handing it off to their backfield, their two-headed monster back there. I don't even think he has an attempt to rush it in this game.
It could be. I mean, I believe his hubris is gonna play a role, and I think he's gonna try and bring, sneak one in there. Wilson, any takes on the Russ stuff, because it's a pretty juicy one.
I fall somewhere in between you two guys on this bet. However, I really just don't want to see it hit regardless, because I don't want to have to get new trash bags after I throw one.
Neither do I. For those that, if folks are a little bit intimidated by that bet, Russell Wilson rushing yards are just 10.5. That's a much more timid way to kind of play Russ using his feet a little bit. If he gets 11 yards rushing, I think they incorporate sacks though when it comes to I think they do. Got to check that. But regardless, that's a way to play it. If you do think Russ is gonna, if you like my argument that Russ is going to show he could still do it with his feet, that's a way to play it a little safer too. Go ahead, Adam.
So if the whole idea of the Russ FU stuff, right? Like that's kind of what you're betting on here, is that he kind of wants to stick it to Pete and that everybody's saying he can't run.
It's partly that. It's partly that though, Adam. The other part is for 2 years, I don't think he ran because I think he wanted off the team. It was a long play to not play on Seattle any longer until it was time to show it.
I think he says all the time that all he wants to do is win. I mean, it'd be like saying that he didn't throw to the middle of the field because he just wanted off the team. Like, I think it's just something that he can't do well anymore, much like passing to the middle of the field. I think if there was a bet on him targeting the middle of the field a bunch in this game, some bet on that, I would take that bet, because I think that's where that FU stuff is going to come out from Russ in this game.
It may. All right, Wilson, over to you for your third bet.
Yeah, so I had a similar thought process here. Third down's kind of a third and long, and I'm not taking a bubble screen to Derek Young. I'm throwing it down the seam to Metcalf, and I have first play of the game. You can bet whether it's a rush or pass, and I'm taking rush at -140. And that's basically a coin flip, because you bet if the Seahawks end up receiving the kickoff, they are running on the first play and they're probably running on the second play. And that's pretty much what my thought process was there.
Interesting. Adam, any reaction to the, to us or the Broncos running the ball? What do you think?
Yeah. So a couple of things. Number one, I thought it was off limits to bet on minus stuff. I thought we couldn't do that. So I stayed away from all that.
Oh no, you could bet on minus stuff for the record. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You could go minus all 3 times if you want to, just to fail Mary. We encourage you to look for some pluses because it's a little more fun.
Okay. So with that in mind, I think that's when I saw that, I was like, that's a lock, because either the Seahawks win the coin toss, right? Well, I guess I was thinking of it backwards. Nope.
Technically logic here.
Yeah, because if they win the coin toss, like they're going to defer,
right? And
if they lose the coin toss, then obviously the Broncos have the ball. So I guess you're betting on the Broncos. I had it backwards in my head. In that case, I don't know. You might be in trouble there, Wilson.
Yeah, I'm of the belief that even if it's Seattle, I think we're going to throw the ball first, and I think it's just part of that. Let's flex the offensive line a little bit. Let's try to start, a little faster than we normally would. So I don't love that bet, but that's okay. That's why we're here.
Well, there's Adam, a 0% chance that the Seahawks are going to have the ball first.
0. They
either lose a coin toss or they win it and defer. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. The Broncos are going to want the ball. That's a good point too. All right, Adam, on to your third bets. What do you got?
All right. My third bet, when I saw this one, this was like, sign me up all day. This is a lock. Anytime TD, Rashad Penny, +160. The Seahawks are going to score at least twice in this game. And odds are it's going to be on the ground. And odds are with Ken Walker's injury and all that, it's going to be Rashad Penny. And I believe in this offensive line. I believe that Penny can regain that form from last year. And they're going to have to lean on him hard to win this game. he's going to get a lot of touches, a lot of opportunities. And at plus 160, man, like I was like, yes, sign me up.
Not bad at all. It's simple. It's kind of clean. And, it's like, as long as you're not getting the 20, 30 yard touchdown, like the breakaway touchdown, you get a methodical drive and you get within they call it the red zone and the green zone within the 10. I've heard it called. That's going to be some penny time for sure. Wilson, any quick reaction for that one before we head over to the Fail Mary?
Yeah, no, I really like that one. I was considering also taking a similar one to that at plus 160 for Jerry Jeudy on FanDuel. Of course, the Broncos' only touchdown of the game. Just like
very nice. Very nice. Yes. And not in the second, and not in the second quarter, right?
No, yeah, that's fourth quarter. It's 31-0.
Very nice. Love
consolation. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So while we're in fantasy land, we might as well remain in fantasy land. And to remind folks, we have the fourth down play is the Fail Mary. Has to be at least plus 1,200. This goes back to the top, which means back to Wilson. What is your Fail Mary play for week 1?
Well, this really doesn't have a whole lot of logic to it, but I just saw this and I thought, for some reason, his name caught my eye, and I have plus 1,600 anytime touchdown Colby Parkinson. Don't ask me why. I just feel like it's going to happen. I just feel like it's one of those weird things where he maybe scores twice this season and one of them happens tonight. I actually really don't like Colby Parkinson. I think he's like bad. I don't think he's very good at football. The fact that we use a 4th round pick on him frustrates me because he's a tight end with not really any definite like strong skills. He's just kind of all right at everything, but he's great at scoring in week 1 against the Broncos. So.
This is a true hunch. And for $1, why not at plus 1,600? Although I've got one that I think will be a little bit more popular than that. However, not my turn yet. Adam, what is your Fail Mary?
Okay. Well, I'll get to mine in a second, but going back to Wilson's real quick, the one thing that the Seahawks had in mind when they drafted him was as a red zone target. And so that's usually when they trot him out there, is when they're down in the red zone. And, Geno, I think, is going to be more inclined to target tight ends than Russ ever was. So for a moonshot, it's honestly not the worst. I kind of dig it because I like it better than mine, to be honest. And you guys, I'm going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to need you to confirm that it is what I think it is, because being a rookie to this, there's a lot of these terms. I was kind of overwhelmed when I got into the app and like looking at all the different things and had to look up a lot of terms and trying to figure out what everything was. So mine is Seattle wins every quarter plus 2,800. And what I think that means is that they score more points than the Broncos in each quarter, correct?
Correct.
Like if they both score nothing, then you're screwed.
Yeah. So 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, you win your bet.
Right.
If that was all Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so no pushes and no losses per quarter, but at plus 2,800, you bet $1 to win $28. Again, it's a lottery ticket, right? So not too bad, man. It's fine.
I don't think it's going to happen at all. This is definitely a heart pick because, leading up to this game, having interacted with a lot of Broncos fans this week, like I'm kind of pissed. I really want to beat these mother effers down. Like I can't stand them right now. And this is when I saw that one, I was like, yeah, beat them every quarter and I get, plus 2,800. Yeah, let's take that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's the dollar scratcher. It's meant to be a bit wild. And again, at plus 1,200, Vegas is saying you're probably not going to win this, or higher. And at plus 2,800, it's a real huck, which is kind of neat. All right, so mine is similar to Wilson's, but I'm going to have to say I think a bit more logical. It's a little harder because what I took was not just an anytime touchdown scorer, but first touchdown scorer of the game. If Mr. Tyler Lockett, number 16, if he scores the first touchdown, no matter who it is, right? Either team, first touchdown scorer, plus 1,500 for first touchdown scorer. I don't mind that. For a holler for $1, Fail Mary try. DK was like, I think plus 12 or plus 13. Most of the Broncos, Javonte and them, they were the ones like plus 600, plus 800. Vegas is clearly expecting the Broncos to get out ahead of this game. Maybe not. Maybe we get the ball. Maybe we get down, we go down there. We have like a methodical drive and it's just Lockett season and he's just sitting in pockets. And we know he's great he's fantastic in the red zone. One of the best of all time in terms of, catch percentage in when he's targeted in the end zone. So for plus 1,500, bet $1 to win 15 for number 16. 1 plus 15 equals 16. I'm going 6 for T-Lock to take that home. I kind of like that Fail Mary. You guys have any thoughts on that one? Wilson?
Yeah, I think it's a good one. I'm surprised at the value you get that at. I guess it's mostly just because everyone expects the Broncos to score the first touchdown, but I think it's a good,
Yeah, it's kind of fun. How about you, Adam?
The hard part about it is that the Seahawks traditionally start out really slow in first halves.
True.
And just the odds of them scoring first, I don't know whether it's Lockett or anybody else. That seems a little difficult to me. But then again, it's a new era. This isn't the Diva Russell Wilson era. This is the Geno Smith, do what's practical, get the job done era, and all for the team. So who knows? Maybe this offense comes out and is a little bit more efficient out of the gate than it was in the Russell Wilson era.
And let me add something in there too. You mentioned, Adam, you don't think the Seahawks will score first. It might be doubtful whether they'll get a touchdown first, but I guarantee you first play of the game, snaps going right over Russell Wilson's head out of the back of the end zone. Note that is only plus 7,500 for the first score to be a safety for the home team. So keep an eye on that one if you're feeling nostalgic.
Nice. The extra Fail Mary to harken back to Omaha right there. And I don't know, it's been a numerologic show. So we might as well say 43-8 and just bring that back up one more time. As Adam, you closed out an epic video this week with those exact numbers, which was fun. All right. So we're through our 4 downs. We recapped, we did the whole thing. I hope folks are really enjoying this PNW Prop Stars. We think it's just a new way to look at a team we love and really dive into more nooks and crannies about why do we, feel a certain way. And with gambling and FanDuel and DraftKings being so popular, we thought we'd have some fun with it this season. So we hope you're liking it. And if you do, go out on YouTube, youtube.com/Seahawkers podcast, subscribe, hit the button. So when we do go live, we're doing post-game reactions this year. Adam, you're killing it with your little video vignettes, which are just, your hot takes. And those are just crushing it. People are loving them. And also people are hating them, right? Which is awesome, right? Your stuff is getting into people's timelines and their faces. There was so much Bronco discussion and Bronco hate back to you that, it did well for the sake of getting people to comment and getting people to talk about it.
Heck yeah, man. This is a ball. And like you said, it's a really cool way to look at the game a little differently and to spur discussion that maybe we don't normally have on the flagship program or What If or 3 in 3 Out or any of those other awesome shows. So yeah, man, this is gonna be fun. I look forward to chatting with Wilson too, man. This is great.
Yeah. Hey, Wilson, I think I'm going to have to head down to Princeton at some point this year. Cause I'm I mapped it out because I'm a freak, but about 3.5 hours. That's all. So 3.5 hours, maybe a little cafeteria, and we're watching the game together while we do some PNW Prop Stars. It's possible. I live not too far away. So, all right, boys, let's lay some lumber. Let's lay that PNW lumber, right? We got the good lumber up in the PNW. Let's friggin' go Hawks. Let's have a good year.